everyone, my name is Andrea. If you don't know me, you should subscribe because why not? You should also hit the notification bell down below to be notified every time I upload a new video. But anyway, today I am very excited because I will be doing my book review on A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. The beginning of this video will be non-spoiler, so don't worry, you won't be spoiled until I tell you, and then I will go ahead and get into spoilers for those of us who have finished. I want to first off start this video and say that I sadly was not an Ember in the Ashes stan for very long. I started this series last month and I ended up catching up to be able to read this book, and I feel like I've missed out. I feel like I would have loved the wait and everything, but I'm also very grateful that I picked it up when I did because in such a short amount of time, the story has begun to mean so much to me, and this ending just was so good. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and I definitely think this series was one that is going to be one of my all-time favorites for a long time, and I'm just so grateful. That's the only thing that I can think of when I finished this book. It's just, the series was so good. The way that this one ends, it's just really special. I think that this series is definitely very readable for anyone. It's one that could go for young ages, adults, anything. I think it is just really a very moving, touching, heavy, but still just meaningful book. I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars because this book is how you end a book. It was just wrapped up, everything that needed to be wrapped up. It gave me that big climax ending that I wanted. It definitely left me with a lot of tears. Literally, I tried to vlog, but once I started my vlog, I read this so fast in like 3 or 4 days. And then the only 3 clips that I had were of me crying, so enjoy them here. I'm just gonna insert them. But yeah, all I did was cry, so I didn't think that was sufficient for a vlog, but we get it here. If that doesn't describe this book, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's just really great. And if you haven't read this one, but you've read the other 3, then you are in for a wild ride. You probably know what to expect from Sabaa Tahir. So many tears, so much grief, a lot of loss, but everything makes sense, and it's just so incredible. I will say that in the previous book to this one, I struggled with the pacing and I found a couple things to be repetitive throughout the story, but this one I didn't feel that. I felt that everything in this book was necessary and everything happened for a reason and at the right time, and it was just so well thought out. The way Sabaa Tahir writes, her writing style, her word choice, everything is perfect. I love this book so much, and if you haven't read this one, I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on it. I know a lot of my friends still haven't read it, but I'm so excited to see what they think. And if you've never read the entire series, I would definitely say to pick it up because it is well worth it. That is pretty much all I can say without getting into big spoilers or anything. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and get into spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled for A Sky Beyond the Storm, go ahead and leave this video, but check it out whenever you have read it. Come back, join me. But that's going to be it. So I'm going to get into spoilers now. Okay, I don't even know where to start, honestly. I cannot believe that literally at the beginning of last month, I did not know a thing about Elias and Laya. Like I said, I'm so grateful that I read this. It is definitely a story that I will cherish for so long, you don't even know. I'm just gonna get into a couple things that I really liked about the book. I'm almost speechless. Like, I think that this book just speaks for itself, and it's definitely one that I feel like once you've made it to the other side and you're here and you know the heartbreak and all the deaths and everything that happened, it was a wild ride, and I am so thankful to Sabaa Tahir for the entire journey. But at the very beginning, whenever Helene and Laya are friends and they're like besties, my heart, I really love that. It just, at the beginning, they were pitted against each other kind of because they both liked Elias, and Elias, you know, had feelings in different ways for both of them. It was a very natural reaction for them to be against each other, but seeing them actually calm down and be best friends, kind of, and seeing them appreciate each other for the skills that they both had, so good. I loved it. I'm so glad that was in there. Another thing from the very beginning was Taz. I can't believe he stayed alive. First of all, that was surprising to me, but it makes sense. But when we first saw him at the beginning, my heart was like, please don't kill him. Like, I just did not want him to die. I don't think I could have taken it. Like, I couldn't even take what happened. I'll get to that in a little bit, but I really couldn't have taken it. He was just so sweet, especially when he was talking to Elias and he was telling him, like, you named me. I love Taz. Okay, he just needed a moment. I was so glad that Helene finally admitted to herself and to Harper her feelings for him, and they finally got to have their moments and be together. And I really thought that he was secure and safe, and your boy wasn't. He is gone, and that hit me so hard. Like, he almost made it, but then at the end, whenever he was, you know, in the waiting place and he was passing through and Elias was talking to him, and we find out that he went beyond in peace because he was a soldier and he died doing what a soldier does, died for the woman that he loved, and that was incredibly heartbreaking, but it made me happy. And that's how I felt about a lot of things, that Sabaa Tahir literally breaks your heart, but she also gives reasons behind it. All of the deaths that she writes are not just for like a surprise factor or something like that. It's always means something, and it's progressing the story, or it's, you know, adding to an arc of a character or closing up an arc of a character, and I really respect that. I really appreciate that, though she did not have to do my boy Darren like that. I even said before I read it that if... You're gonna scare me. I said before I started the book that if Darren died, I felt like everything would have been for nothing. And, you know, I don't feel like that. I feel like he died, and it's because we got to see him in the waiting place. It's because... Come here. My dog wanted to be here. Okay. It's definitely because we got to see that closure. I'm so glad that we got to see that, because I would have been even more distraught than I was, but I was still pretty, you saw me, I was a mess. I will say though that the biggest death that made me cry, I think we can all agree, is Livy's. Like, she literally died in front of her baby, and also I do have one problem with the book, and that is I don't understand how the characters came in contact with each other. Karis was always meeting Helene, the Nightbringer was always meeting Laya, but they never killed each other. And I'm like, why didn't you just kill each other? You had this story, all of the main characters had so many chances to kill the bad guys, to kill the villains, and they never did. And I don't understand why. That is my only problem with this book. And I'm glad that it was dragged out, because I love to see the journeys and everything, and the ending was still really good. But literally, why didn't they just kill them before? And I'm sure there's an answer to this, and maybe it's because I just, you know, just finished it. I can't comprehend, but that was just my own like wishful thinking. Like, if they would have just killed them sooner. And the fact, when Karis threw baby Zacharias, I was like, this bitch needs to die. She literally threw a child, a baby, and then killed the baby's mother. I can't. I'm so glad that she's out here. That was... I really liked how baby Zacharias was solved, like the situation about who was gonna parent him, because Helene was like, you know, I'm not a mother, I ain't your mother, I can't do this, like I'm not that. And I'm glad that she knew that. And then mommy Ryla was like, I'll take the kid, like I know how to raise boys. So many things just hit me straight in the heart, and I cannot. I can't. I feel like I'm in a sort of stupor. Like, it's just too much. It was so great. I like that Elias was not the soul catcher, and if I'm being honest, I think we all knew, but getting there was so hard. Like, literally, so many times I thought he was gonna finally go back to being regular Elias, and then we're like, nope, he's a soul catcher. And Laya, whenever she decided to stay like in the forest, I was like, yes, because I was seriously wondering how we were gonna get the Elias and Laya content that we deserved and needed, and that was brilliant, because I was like, hey, something has to give. Like, something has got to happen. They need their time to figure stuff out. And whenever Laya tried to convince Elias and all that, it was great. I was having a great time. Most of the time, Laya was like, Elias, and Elias was like, it's Soulcatcher to you. And then that one time when Laya was like, okay, Soulcatcher, Elias was like, it's Elias to you. I was like, okay, you know, he's still simping for Laya. We been new, and that was honestly the best. But I'm really happy that Elias is finally free at the end. Like, he's literally where he wanted to be from the beginning, and he has the opportunity to choose what he becomes. And like, Laya is the Kahani, she's gonna tell stories, she's gonna be so good. And then freaking Helene is the Empress, so great. And then Elias seems like he has nothing going for him, like he doesn't have anything to do, but that's what he wanted. He has the freedom to choose and to become anything that he wants, and then he'll have Laya by his side, and it's just, you know, that worked out so good. Like, we had so many bad things happen, but that worked out so perfect. I'm not gonna lie, I was crying the last 150 pages. Like, if anybody reads that book and doesn't cry, you have no emotion, because that was intense. It was probably the most that I cried to a book in this entire year, and I'm grateful for that. I love the heart and how much emotion was poured into this book. It truly shows and made the book even more special. I really loved so many quotes in this, like how she repeats the always victorious and the loyal to the end. And also the, I don't know how to say it, but I'll put it on the screen. This quote that basically means, may you die first. When Helene and Harper were like saying that to each other, I was like, ow, like, ow, you did not have to do that. I can't believe how much I loved Helene. Like, her story, she really was the backbone of this story, let me tell you. Like, her arc from the beginning to where she is now, being the freaking Empress and being a badass good Empress like that for the Empire. I cannot believe that I hated Helene. Like, I did not like her for the first 2 books. Even the third, I was kind of iffy till the end. Even when I saw her go through so much, like lose everything, she's literally lost everything, and I was still kind of like, I don't know how I feel about her. But now I'm in love with Helene Aquila. Like, she is literally so, I love her. She's one of my favorite characters, I think, ever. And it's really crazy to me that Sabaa Tahir could write a character that I hated, well, didn't hate, okay, a character that I didn't like, to now loving her. That was growth. That was so great. I think that is pretty much all I have to say. Like, this book was so good. I don't know what else to say. I cried about everything. It was wrapped up perfectly. All of the feels. I love it. I love it. I will miss these characters so much forever. I wish I could go back and read it again for the first time, and I will always just be so grateful to Sabaa Tahir. I thank her so much for writing this story and not being scared to have such a raw story. I would love to know if you read it. Let me know what your thoughts were down below, and I hope that you are done crying and that we're all gonna get through it, and we will all live happily in a collective conscious, knowing that we all know the story of Elias and Helene and Laya. And, you know, I'm glad to have went on this journey, even though it was so much emotion, so much crying in just like 1 month, but I loved it. And 5 out of 5 stars, queen, legend, I love it. Let's comment the blades that are like crossed as an emoji if you stayed till the end of this video, and if you've, you know, went through everything I've went through, let's just put that down below. But that's all I'm gonna say. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Oh, Christmas